In this third video in the academic writing series, we will look at citations, bibliographies and footnotes. While it is important to present your own original research in academic papers, you must also display knowledge of the other published research in your field. As mentioned in the previous video, there are many different formatting styles. This is also the case for citations, bibliographies and footnotes. In this video we will use Harvard style, which is a common citation style in the social sciences. For more information on Harvard style, have a look on the internet. Let's start with citations. What does to cite mean? Here is the definition from the Collins Co-Build English Dictionary. If you cite something, you quote it or mention it, especially as an example or proof of what you are saying. In particular, there are 4 types of citation. Quotation, when you use somebody else's exact sentences or striking phrases. Paraphrase, when you use somebody else's ideas but using slightly different words. Summary, when you rewrite or shorten somebody else's arguments using your own words. And reference, when you want to mention someone's work without discussing it in detail. To show you how to use citations, we will use this imaginary example of a paragraph from an essay in the Journal of Hokkaido Studies. This is what you must do if you want to cite from this paragraph in your essay. First, let's look at 4 aspects of quotations. Sections longer than 40 words, complete sentences under 40 words, sentence fragments or striking phrases, and modifying quotations. For quotations of more than 40 words, find the section in the essay you want to cite from. Let's suppose you want to cite this section of 45 words. First, introduce the citation. Here is our introductory sentence. Let us look at population trends in Hokkaido. Then, insert the citation. When you copy, be very careful. Make sure the wording, punctuation and format are exactly the same as the original. Next, add the reference details. This is the reference. It is in Harvard citation style. Then, continue your analysis. Finally, we need to adjust the formatting. Your quotation is more than 40 words, so we need to make it a separate paragraph and indent. Now your quotation of a long section is okay. Next, let's look at quotations of under 40 words. Let's say you want to cite this sentence. It is 18 words long. First of all, introduce the citation. Then insert the citation. Adjust the formatting by adding inverted commas. You might want to add an extra phrase to introduce the citation. Then add the reference details. And continue your analysis. This quotation is now okay. The rules for quoting part of a sentence, or a striking phrase, are very similar to the rules for quoting a whole sentence. Let's suppose you want to cite the striking phrase population magnet. You need to put this in the middle of your own sentence. Here are 2 possible examples. In recent years, Sapporo has become a population magnet in Hokkaido. As Seaton argues, Sapporo has become a population magnet in Hokkaido. Just make sure you don't forget quotation marks and the reference. When you quote from another person's work, you must make sure that the quoted words and phrases are exactly the same as in the original version. However, sometimes it is necessary to modify a quotation. To adjust the grammar or provide context, we use square brackets. To add emphasis, we use italics. First, adjusting the grammar or context. Let's suppose you want to quote this sentence. You add an introductory sentence and reference. It looks okay, but actually the context is strange. Look more carefully. Here is the original. And here is your citation. In the original, it means Sapporo's population. But in your version, it means Sapporo. This is effectively a misquotation and might be misleading. However, this problem is easy to solve. Of course, you can modify your introduction like this. Or we can modify the quotation using square brackets like this. But if you modify the quotation, always make sure that you preserve the exact meaning of the original text. Second, let's add emphasis to part of a quotation. We do this by adding italics. Here is the quotation of a long section we saw earlier. This is the part we want to emphasize. Add italics, and make sure you say emphasis added when you give the reference. Quoting other people's work is the most difficult part of citations. Let's now look quickly at paraphrasing, summary, and reference. Just to remind you, we are citing from page 40 of the imaginary paper an essay about Hokkaido in the fictitious Journal of Hokkaido Studies. To summarize this section on citations, always remember the following key points. Every time you borrow information or ideas from others, you must show where you got your information from. But you do not need to give citations for things that may be considered general knowledge. So, Sapporo is the largest city in Hokkaido and has a population of 1.8 million people does not need a citation. It is general knowledge. Be careful to copy the exact wording of the original text in all quotations, or show clearly any modifications using square brackets or italics. All academic essays need a balance between original research and references to the existing literature. Using citations well is a vital skill in academic writing. Finally, there are many different citation styles. We have used Harvard citation style in this video, but there are many others. Always check with your teacher or the academic journal. Next, let's look at bibliographies. A bibliography is a list of all the sources you have cited in your academic essay. The list is usually in alphabetical order by author. During the course of a single academic essay, you might cite from a variety of different sources. Let's look at 4 different particularly common sources in academic writing: books, academic articles, newspaper articles, and websites. Let's build a sample bibliography. For a book, give the following information: author's name, date of publication, title. If it is a Japanese book, it's good to give an English translation, publisher, and the place it was published. For an academic article, give the following information: author's name, date of publication, article title, journal title, volume and page range. For a newspaper article, there are 2 types of bibliographical entry. If the journalist is named, use basically the same format as for an academic article, but give the exact date instead of the volume and page range. If the author is not named, give the name of the paper, article title, and the date. Remember that bibliographies are in alphabetical order, so let's correct the bibliography now. For websites, we need to distinguish named and unnamed articles in the same way as newspaper articles. Here is an example from a named author. And here is an example of an unnamed article from an institution's web page. Let's finish this section on bibliographies by mentioning 4 points. First, about dates. Notice how for books and academic articles, we only need the year they were published. For newspaper and other media reports, we need the exact date. And for websites, we need the date you saw the web page. Websites are constantly changing, so the information you used might disappear. It is strongly recommended that you print out or save any web page you cite so that you have a permanent copy for your records. Second, notice the formatting in this bibliography. Italics are used for book, journal, and newspaper titles. Inverted commas are used for the article titles. This is a common formatting style. Third, notice how the second line of each entry is indented. This is another common formatting convention in bibliographies. Finally, just to repeat a point made many times before, remember that there are many different citation styles. Check carefully the instructions given by your teacher or the journal. The last section of this video concerns footnotes. We first saw footnotes in video 2 on structure and formatting. Actually, there are 2 types of footnotes, those which appear at the end of a page and those which appear at the end of a section or document, which are called endnotes. It was explained that footnotes are for giving extra information in a text. To remind yourself, please look again at the sample essay, Structure and Formatting in Academic Writing. However, in some academic journals, citations are given in footnotes. This is what we are going to look at now. Up until now, we have been using Harvard citation style. This is popular because it is very simple and economical. In academic essays with limited word counts, you do not want to use a lot of unnecessary words on references and bibliographical details. The advantage of footnotes, however, is that they interrupt the text even less. Let's give an example of converting a citation in Harvard style to one in footnotes. Typically in a footnote, we give the author's name, the title of the publication, often in an abbreviated form, and the page. But once again, there are various styles, so check with your teacher or the journal's instructions for authors. If it is appropriate, you can also put additional information in the same footnote after the reference, like this. In this video, we have only been able to cover the basics of citations, bibliographies and footnotes. As in structuring and formatting, the key point is consistency. If you start an essay using one citation style, continue using it until the end. Because citation styles differ quite significantly in different subjects, it is strongly suggested that you study the citation styles in some of the famous journals in your field. In the final video in the academic writing series, we will look at how to describe data in graphs.